Hey, what's up? Like, totally time for 90210.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the 90210 show. My name is Mark. With me as always is my sexy fiance, Carol. How you doing today, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. It's been a good week here. It's September 11th, 1998. Feels like a good day.
Yeah.
You know?
A happy, relaxed day.
Absolutely. Speaking of happy and relaxed,
Nothing in this episode's happy
we
and
watched an
relaxed.
episode of 90210 called Deadline.
Yeah, I wish that I could understand the name of this episode, but whatever.
Did they give Brandon a deadline?
I don't know.
I don't think so. Did Steve's sperm have a deadline?
All right, where do you want to start?
Let's start with, I don't know. I mean, there's David, there's Brandon, there's I'm just naming characters. There's Donna, kind of, and what's his name?
Noah.
Noah.
Let's start with David.
All right, let's start with the David.
So it's so weird because it's been so long in between like watching episodes that I thought it must have been weeks, and they're like it's the next day from the last episode.
Yeah.
So
For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, we took a short sabbatical, and since we're behind on the tapes, we batch recorded a couple episodes and are coming back to 90210 now.
So it had been a couple weeks, but in the last episode, David and Donna broke up.
In the last episode of Soap at 90210,
And she had kicked him out. And he says to her, "You just kicked me out yesterday." And I'm like, holy shit, that was yesterday? And it just seems like so much has happened.
That was weird, yeah. Well, because she kicked him out, and then he got bailed out by Noah, unbeknownst to him. And then Noah kissed, what's her name? Donna. And now, this is going on.
So David is living in his office at the After Dark.
He's living on a prayer.
He has finally, he's starting to turn things around. He's out of debt. The mobster guy is, paid off.
The mobster guy that apparently just has a regular job, by the way.
Yeah.
Like he works on a dock.
Who knows?
Yeah, I don't get it.
So it's like, you get this like sense that maybe David's going to be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then he fucking turns the space heater on in his office and just leaves it on. And you called it immediately.
Well, as soon as they show someone plugging something into a bunch of different, like, it's like in fucking A Christmas Story or something, where there's all these different plugs going into one extension plug and everything. As soon as they showed that, I was like, oh, fire, of course.
But that's not even what causes the fire.
No.
He throws his shirt on top of the space heater because he's looking for something in the office.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
He's looking for, as he calls them, those little cheese fish crackers. And yet when he grabs them, they're two giant things of goldfish crackers.
Right.
And they say goldfish right on them.
Yeah.
That has to be a goldfish product placement, right? Like,
I would
they had to
imagine.
have cleared that with Nabisco or whoever makes goldfish.
Maybe he just was truly supposed to be having trouble coming up with the name. He was kind of excited. He's like, oh, there's so many people.
He was excited about goldfish crackers. You know how we all get excited about goldfish crackers.
He literally wanted to put them out to make people thirsty so they would drink more. That's fucked up. I didn't even realize that that's why bars give you free salty snacks.
Yeah, you didn't realize that's why all the snacks and bars are salty?
Yeah, like
pickled pig's feet and fucking...
Pickled pig's feet? What the fuck kind of bar do you go to?
Well, you've never been to a bar down south, obviously.
I have not.
Pickled eggs or... yeah, it's like nuts and pretzels and stuff.
I've had them give me popcorn before, and I was just like, how nice is this?
Some bars just have a giant salt lick at the end.
Right.
Just line up, everybody.
Oh my goodness.
Because salt makes you thirsty. Because when you have too much sodium in your body craves water to dilute the salt and keep it in balance. And then sometimes, but salt also makes you retain water. Mm-hmm. So then sometimes you get into this vicious cycle where you eat something salty and then you drink water and then your body craves salt again and then you drink more water and your body craves salt and then you have this big bloat of like water weight.
That sounds awful.
That if you just stopped for a day or two eating salty snacks, that you would, you'd pee it all out and you'd be fine.
Interesting.
Yeah.
My experience with little fish in bars, though, is there's this one...
A talking fish that appears after you've had the right amount of drinks.
Right.
It's time, Carol. Select a man and take him home. Okay, fish.
Oh, my God. No, they're like my favorite drink. It's called the fishing hole. Mm-hmm. And they used to put Swedish fish in the giant bowl that they serve this drink in.
Oh, the fish that appears is Swedish?
Yeah. Goodness. Oh, you sound like the dude from the Muppets. Yeah. No, the first time I got it, they served it in a goldfish bowl with fish in it. And I thought it was the coolest fucking thing ever. And
it's a giant drink.
As time has gone on, they've gotten crappier.
They're tightening their belts.
No fish, smaller bowl.
Oh.
So sad.
Too many people hallucinated after drinking it. So.
Right.
Had to shrink the bowl. And that wouldn't be a bad idea, honestly, to coat some fish in psilocybin or like
what the fuck?
Swedish fish, just roll a little mescaline or something on them. Dip them in that, put them in the drink, and then there you go.
I think that would be a very bad idea.
Okay. You and I have different ideas of good times.
Apparently.
Mescaline-covered Swedish fish and pickled pig's feet, and I guess, I don't know, a bowl of popcorn for you.
Exactly. Anyway, David sets his bar on fire.
He does. And not in the good sense of like, this bar's on fire.
No.
More like, this bar's on fire.
It was so stupid. And he gets it out. Like, the fire's just in his office. It doesn't go through the bar, but it's bad enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just, smoke appears underneath his door, and the bartender that turned him on to the scummy fucking loan shark guy is like, hey, there's smoke coming from your fucking place. Or whatever.
Yeah.
And, or maybe the waitress says it. But anyway, he sees, and the fire alarms go off, and everyone starts going, and then everyone starts stampeding out.
Right.
I thought it was going to be a real clusterfuck.
Oh, yeah.
People were going to get trampled to death or something. He was going to be liable for murder or something like that.
Murder? Jeez.
Well, because people would die in the being trampled.
But I don't think it would be murder if,
Manslaughter, sorry.
Okay. Anyway, that doesn't happen.
When you kill someone and it's unintentional, it's manslaughter.
Right. But I don't think that somebody getting trampled in a public place when there's a fire would fall on the owner as manslaughter. That seems...
It depends. Depends on the situation. Have they exceeded the maximum amount of people allowed? Do they have proper fire exits?
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's a bunch of stuff they could catch them on. Anyway, it doesn't happen, though.
Yeah, so I mean...
Instead, he takes a fire extinguisher and is able to easily put out the fire.
It 100% could have been worse, as we saw the last time there was a fire.
Yeah, Kelly got a lot of fires in this show. I don't know what were some of the writers hurt by fire or something like that?
Somebody has some issues.
Did fire promise to take you to Disneyland and then didn't show up?
Right.
It was raining, son. That's no excuse, Dad. That is also made of fire.
So, oh no. It went away. The thought.
It wasn't that bad. He was able to put the fire out. However.
Oh, yeah. It turns out he has no insurance.
Yeah.
So he's completely fucked.
He couldn't pay for the insurance So he decided, it's something I don't need.
What an idiot. Always get insurance. It's not like blackjack.
No.
This is business. So
this is business, not blackjack. Always get insurance. That should be an insurance ad.
Right.
For gambling addicts.
But the landlady is very unhappy when she finds out, which, like, he doesn't even call her. Like, he's acting like such a child.
He really is.
So, yeah, he's already behind. He didn't have insurance, so she's like, you're done.
Yeah.
So he's lost his bar.
She says, she goes, look, you're always late on your rent. You don't have fucking insurance like you're supposed to. You had a fire in here. You're apparently living in here. Your lease is up. That's it. Look for another place. You're done.
He's like, I'll turn it around and I'll do better. And she's like, I'm sure you will somewhere else. Mm-hmm. I disagree. I don't think he will somewhere else. Yeah. I think that would be really stupid if he just tries to reopen the After Dark in a different spot.
Turns out he doesn't have to, but I knew the confused look on your face is so worth it. Because I knew the way you were talking, you did not remember it. In fairness, they just drop it in there like real quick and subtle towards the end of the episode. But I knew you hadn't remembered.
Yeah, okay, so Noah turns into Daddy Warbucks and just, once it's out, like he just starts flashing his money. Right?
We should cover him and Valerie a little bit too.
Okay.
And maybe Donna.
Sure.
Leading up to this moment.
Okay. So with Valerie
and David have a conversation at the beginning of the episode where Valerie's like, because David, at the very beginning of the episode, David comes over to Donna's house and is like, oh my God, you're the best. You're a unicorn. You are the most beautiful woman in the entire world. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he goes, he's like, I knew you were mad at me and I knew it was going to take a while, but for you to bail me out like this.
Oh yeah, this was so stupid.
And she's like, what are you fucking talking about? And he's like, the loan shark. And she goes, the loan shark you never told me about? Yeah, I didn't bail you out of that. He's like, well, who could it have been? I don't know anybody that has money. Noah doesn't have any money. He specifically mentions Noah weirdly. He says Brandon and Steve, people you would think might want to bail him out. But then he throws Noah in there too for some reason. But anyway,
well, because he's replacement Dylan, don't forget.
That's true. But anyway, so how much more meaningful would this be if this was Dylan?
Yeah.
Doing this stuff.
Whatever they did to lose Luke Perry, shame on them. It was a really bad decision.
He wanted to make that fucking 8 Seconds movie or whatever about bull riding.
Not worth it.
No, not.
Come back.
Your movie career is not going great, Dylan. Sorry. Anyway, so she's like, well, no, you lied. Now I know you lied to me. Even when you said you were telling the truth, now I know you lied to me. You're a piece of shit. Get out. And so he leaves. And then he's talking to Valerie, and Valerie's like, well, don't you want to know who bailed you out? And he's like, yeah, but why do you want to know? And he's like, oh, money. You smell money. I should have guessed.
Yeah, it really, it's so funny. When she finds out who it was, it makes sense.
Yeah.
But, why should she care otherwise?
Yeah, why is she so invested? Does she really think she can find this person with money and then just seduce them?
I guess. I mean, she does seem to think that her vagina is like a golden honeypot or something. I guess
so. They really have just reduced her character to just a money-grubbing whore.
Yep.
It reminds me of a joke I heard. Indulge me for a second. Mm-hmm. A young child is in class, and he hears his teacher talking about the difference between hypothetically and realistically. And he doesn't really understand. So he goes to his dad and he says, Dad, what's the difference between realistically and hypothetically? And he's like, well, how do I explain it? He goes, do me a favor. Go to your sister and your aunt and ask them if they would have sex with a stranger for $1 million. And he's like, why? Why would I do that? And he's like, just do it. So he goes to his aunt and his sister, and he comes back and he says, so I asked them, and they both had the exact same answer. I asked them if they would sleep with a stranger, hypothetically, for $1 million, and or if they'd sleep for a stranger for $1 million, and they both said that they would. And the dad's getting angry, and he goes, they both said yes. He said, yeah. He goes, go ask your mother. And so he asks his mom, and he said, I asked Mom the same question, and she gave the same answer. She said for $1 million she would have sex with a stranger. And the dad's getting even more angry, and he goes, okay, so hypothetically we have $3 million now, but realistically we're living in a house with 3 whores.
Goodness, that's a little judgy. Has he not seen Indecent Proposal?
Apparently not. That's an old joke. So, anyway, so she goes and tracks him down, and it's fucking. He says, "Well, yeah."
She slaps him.
Well, no.
Sorry. Back it up.
Beep, beep, beep. She tracks down the guy, the
Yeah.
loan shark guy. Who just has a regular 9 to 5 on the docks, I guess. I mean, he's ordering people around. He's still wearing a suit, but he's like, this goes there, that goes there. Is it like how all mob people in New Jersey are in waste management or something? Like, is that what it is?
Well, I mean, maybe it's just like he has money, and so they're doing like moving stuff for him because he has money.
Or maybe he like owns this business and he has money, and on the side for fun, he just is a loan shark too.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she asks him, and he's like, yeah. She goes, well, I thought I could use my charm on you. And he's like, okay.
I don't understand why she didn't want to sleep. See, when you talk about smelling money, I thought she was going to try to sleep with the loan shark. Like, he has money.
Yeah, exactly.
Go for him. He was interested in her, too.
He was kind of interested in her. But he says, look, you didn't hear it from me, but it was some dude named Noah, whatever his last name
Hunter.
is. Noah Hunter, yeah. And then he's like, oh, yeah, this guy's fucking loaded. Like, he's like, it's not, I don't know what he's telling people or whatever, but to trust me, the loan shark guy, he's got a lot of money. And like you pointed out, it's like, how does he know? Did he do research on him? Like...
Yeah, I mean, like, all he knows is he paid him the $17,000.
I want the scene where he's sitting in a library looking at microfiche and, like, tracking down his lineage. Oh, my God, he's one of those hunters.
It was weird.
Yeah, it was weird. So, yeah, she goes up, and as you said, she slaps him
Twice. It's so ridiculous.
And then he goes, look, if you do that one more time, I'm going to slap you back.
I kind of don't blame him. I mean... Just out of nowhere. That's just really hard, too.
And then she talks about how much he's a liar.
Which he is. And I mean, like, I get that that's, like, the hot take is, like, oh, he's been a liar. But that's not my first thought. Like, you'd think that they'd just be like, oh, my gosh, we're friends with a millionaire. Especially her.
Right.
But, no, she's like, how dare you lie to me?
Well, she's mad because it would have made her decision so much easier.
Yeah.
She would have just stayed with him.
Well,
because apparently it was the love of her life or whatever. I don't know.
She yells at Brandon about it later because Brandon knew.
Mm-hmm.
And,
wow, she's wearing a Nikon, by the way.
Oh, did you enjoy that?
I noticed it.
But yeah, she's like, you knew how much I needed the money. Why wouldn't you tell me? Like, what does she think would have happened?
Yeah, no, she's living in this house basically for free. Like, what does she need all this money for?
Well, I mean, she probably would like to not live in Brandon's house forever.
I guess, yeah.
But,
steal some more clients from people.
Right. Yeah, just accept yourself as a call girl.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
and,
just do that.
High class.
You can ask Erica. She has.
There you go.
She has the inside track on who you can get with. But anyway, so she's pissed, and yeah, she says he's a liar. He is kind of a liar, I guess, because it's not like he didn't say anything about his financial situation. He specifically said he did not have money.
Yeah.
He said he needed a place to stay because he couldn't afford anything. He's like staying on Donna's parents' boat. Like the whole thing's weird. He's really like play acting like he's broke.
Yeah. It is weird. I wonder what he's getting out of it.
Well, he said to Donna, because he admits it to Donna,
mm-hmm.
He said to Donna that he wanted to know what it was like to not be Noah Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
Because I guess for his whole life he's had these expectations heaped on his shoulder or whatever.
Well, and I'm sure, it's hard to know who your real friends are.
Yeah, I get it. I get it from that aspect, but like, they were dating for a while. Like, he should have known at that point that, okay, she likes me for me.
She likes me for me.
Not because... Yeah. I sing like Pavarotti. I'm such a hottie or something like that. I don't remember the name of the rest of the songs. But anyway, so I think it is kind of shitty, but at the same time, it's also no one's business, really.
Right, yeah. Like, everybody's so mad at him. It seems a little out of proportion. Except for Valerie, but even that was out of proportion.
So then she tells David.
Yeah.
And David's like, what the fuck? And she's like, hey, maybe he thinks that, gives you 15 grand, then he can fuck Donna or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it is a weird turn of events.
Yeah.
Do you think he liked Donna the whole time? Because I thought he was into Kelly.
No, I don't think he liked Donna the whole time. I think he was into Valerie, then he was into Kelly, then he was into Valerie, then Valerie broke his heart, now he's into Donna. I think he's just going through the list.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But him and Donna, like, they end up...
they go on a full-ass date.
Yeah.
And this is when Donna says to David, you can come back and live at the beach house, because he's sleeping in his car. Mm-hmm. Because there's too much smoke damage, so he can't sleep in the office where he was sleeping.
Well, that's before they go on the date. She tells him that.
Yeah.
She's like, and he's like, you all but kicked me out yesterday, which I realize now is not when they broke up. It's when
when
she yelled at him.
Of the episode.
Yeah.
I realized that too when I was talking about it.
So it has been probably a few days at least.
But yeah, so he comes unbeknownst to her to, I guess, stay, but he hears them talking and kiss at the end of their date.
Yeah, that's awful.
And so he's like, yeah, I wish I hadn't been here or whatever, and I'm leaving now.
But I mean, that's kind of his fault because she didn't know he was there. She wouldn't have done that if she knew he was there, I'm sure.
They're broken up, so she's not really doing anything wrong.
No.
I think Noah's doing something wrong, honestly, but I think if he's really friends with David, you don't date your friend's exes.
Are you sure they're friends?
Well, they might. I mean, I don't think they are.
I mean, not anymore for sure.
He
but
keeps saying that he wants to be, and David's like, yeah, we're not fucking friends. Fuck you.
Yeah. So in that regard, I mean, like, I don't know that he owes David anything, and he did help him out. So
they meet at the Max at the end. And by
the Max?
By the Max, I mean the Peach Pit.
Holy shit! Are we?
Saved by the Bell. Yes.
Tiffany Amber Thiessen crossover in your brain there. Mm-hmm. The Nikon.
It's all right.
Nikon broke you.
But so they're there, and he's talking to Donna, and Noah walks up behind him, and he's like, "Yeah, well, it doesn't matter. I'm fucked. I'm not going to be able to do the club anymore." And he's like, "Look, it's fine. Take your time with the payments. No one cares." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Did I make her an offer on the building or whatever?" "Yeah, of course I did. I bought it." So he bought the club building, and he's like, "So just go run your club or whatever." Like, he's very dismissive about it.
Yeah,
he's on a date with Donna, and he's like, "Just go run your club." And David's like, "Yeah, I don't want to anymore. You fucking run it." And he throws him the keys, and then walks away.
Yeah,
and then Noah has the audacity to be like, "You see, Donna, my money's ruining everything." No, it's your fucking attitude, dude.
For sure. I mean, if he were like a nice person and was genuinely trying to help people and approach things from that angle, not the, well, I'm helping you, so fuck off.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where we're at. David's given up the club, I guess. I don't know, but he doesn't have to. I'm sure they're gonna try to convince him to keep it because Noah owns it now. So
yeah.
I don't understand how this business works at all. But
no.
Did he buy the Peach Pit too? Did he buy that building, or does Nat own that half of the building?
I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
I wish that we could ask him because I know you really worry about.
Nat he has to though. Nat has to own that half of the building because when they were going to build the mall, they couldn't do it without him. A leaseholder would be able to just sell it.
Yeah.
Out from under him.
That's true.
So he has to own the building too.
So the other story we have is Brandon and Kelly.
Yep.
And Erica.
Yes. Brandon and Kelly and Erica. Oh, my.
So I'm kind of sick of them.
It's nothing. Okay. Usually I would thoroughly rinse Carol and make fun of her or whatever. But I'm going to give you a pass here for your procrastination or consternation about this storyline because nothing happens. I mean, stuff happens, but nothing really happens. It's a handful of scenes of them talking about stuff, and then one scene of something happening, and then it's like, oh, everything's fixed. They have a scene where they're like, oh, Brandon, they're going to threaten you if you don't give up Erica. Tell him she was your source. And he's like, no, not going to do it. And then there's a scene of them coming and being like, you're under arrest, Brandon. We're taking you to jail. And then Brandon's like meeting with the prosecutor, and I'm not going to give her up and everything. Rush gets him a lawyer. He gets bailed out. I know I'm explaining, or I know I'm saying a lot of things that are happening, but it's all nothing. It's all banal
It is.
dialogue, and it's quick, efficient, expositional scenes that are just nothing. And there's no dynamism to any of this. And he's like, oh, I'm not going to do it. And him and Kelly, apparently this is a strain on their relationship because she's like, you could go to jail for 5 years. And he's like, I won't because a jury won't convict me. And I'm like, of course they wouldn't because this is all ridiculous.
But yeah,
to charge him with accessory to like child endangerment, it's so dumb.
She is, I think, being very unfair. Mm-hmm. And both her and Steve have this parallel going on where, like, Steve feels like the pregnant lady is, making decisions for him and his life's out of his hands. And Kelly feels like that's what Brandon's doing by allowing himself to be in this position. And it's not the same.
It's not the same. So then Erica says she overhears the stuff. She overhears the boring scenes and says, I've got an idea. We'll catch him on some other crime. So, conveniently, he also deals drugs. So, the cops get together. They put a wire on her. She's like, oh my gosh, I was in Vegas. Look at all the money I made you. He's like, all right, you're the best. And he doesn't question it in any way. And then she's like, oh, I got somebody here that wants to buy drugs from you, too. Even though I just came back just now.
Right.
And he's like, cool, let's go sell drugs.
Yeah,
he looks right at her chest where the bulge of the fucking microphone is, taps it, and goes, yes, let's sell drugs.
Yeah, the whole thing is stupid. So
he goes up to the car, and then Brandon and Kelly are there
in the police car
for some reason. I don't know why they'd be allowed to be there, but they're there on the stakeout with the other two cops, and the guy's like, this guy is the best. He's the best detective. And all the guy does is go, yes, I would like 2 grams of cocaine, please.
Right.
Here's my 20% off coupon for cocaine. And he's like, oh, I've got some. Let me see it. Here's money. Here's the cocaine. And it's like, it was the most banal thing ever. And then the police sirens come out. And I guess the actor playing Riggs, deciding that his entire storyline has been too stupid and boring, turns into a Las Vegas magician. He's David Copperfield spinning around with his arms wide open. Ta-da! Like he just sawed a woman in half.
It was very over dramatic.
It was the stupidest. Like, I can't imagine that the director saw this blocking and was like, that's it. So Erica's doing her best. What happened? What's going on?
She did a good job.
She did. The actress that played her did a good job.
She's
like, what's happening, Riggs? What are they doing?
Yeah, and then she's like, I love you.
Yeah. And then they put her in the car like they're arresting her, even though they're not going to. And then they arrest him, and they take him off. And Erica's like, I hope he believed me.
Yeah, which obviously he did. He was like trying to comfort her as he's getting in the car, which was ridiculous and didn't fit his character.
No. The idea being that he's going to think that they both got arrested And even if he gets out, or whenever he gets out, he'll be like, well, I just lost track of her. I mean, they arrested her too. She went to a woman's facility or a juvenile detention center. I have no idea what's happened to her.
I mean,
and
that's fine,
she
but
gets to live with Dylan because they've been on the phone, quote unquote, with Dylan and Brenda this whole time. They're like, they look right at the camera and they're like, remember, these are characters that are still exist in the show, even though apparently we hate the actors.
Right. So yeah, so Erica's all excited to go.
She's gonna go live with Brenda and Dylan.
I mean, she gets to go to Europe
in London.
So hopefully she turns her life around. I guess.
Yep.
Whatever. But it was all really, really bad.
It was dumb. Like, the time that it took me to explain it was about as long as it took in the episode, and probably was more exciting. It was so, like, you wouldn't believe that storyline with those elements could be so boring. But
Yeah,
it was.
It was.
So then the last storyline that we have
Is Steve.
good old Steven Sanders.
I hate him right now. Like, I don't know
he's
why.
reverting to his assholishness.
Yeah. I don't know why the girl he's with is still with him. I can't think of her name right now.
Carly.
Yeah. Like, he just keeps whining and whining about the fact that he knocked up this girl.
Mm-hmm.
And whether he did or not, he could have.
Yeah.
So
he used a
take
condom.
responsibility.
Yeah.
Okay, so that you both used a condom. If it failed, it failed.
No, I understand. They need to put it right on the box. I understand. But he what the fuck was I going to say? I derailed myself with my joke.
I don't know.
He thinks he got this girl pregnant.
Mm-hmm.
His main argument, now he is being a very whiny baby. He is reverting to like season 1,
Mm-hmm.
season 2 Steve, where he's like, I'll give you $1,000 to just go away. I don't want to fucking deal with I'm an adult and I don't want to have a baby.
Yeah, and she's like, it's your responsibility to pay support if the baby's yours anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Which it is.
Yeah. But his main argument, and I think they should have hit this more, but I think they were too cowardly to do it, is that, whatever, pro-choice, okay? Mm-hmm. She has a choice. He doesn't have a choice. She wants to have the baby. He wants her to get an abortion. And it's like he feels like he doesn't have any choice in the situation, like he's a victim. Like
Right.
he's being victimized, which is an interesting moral quandary because this isn't a thing you can compromise on.
Yeah.
You can't kind of abort a baby, and you can't kind of not abort a baby.
Well, adoption would be a compromise, I guess.
Yeah, sure. But she wants to keep the baby.
And she should be able to.
She wants a child. He doesn't. So that's you could make arguments
Sure.
that it's unfair. You can make arguments that a man should be able to say, well, I don't want to have anything to do with this baby and not have to do anything. I'm not saying they're good arguments. I'm not saying I agree with them. But I'm saying if we sat down here, we could talk for 2 hours probably
Right.
about the interesting moral and philosophical questions around this specific situation. Ultimately, I think that the mother's the one that has it in her body. Her opinion has to carry more weight.
Yeah.
It might not seem fair to guys, but I think that's just the way it is. And I think if one wants it and the other one doesn't want it, the baby, I think that most of the time it should go towards the wanting it aspect too. But anyway, so because this is a completely different question, by the way. If she doesn't want to have the baby and he does,
Right.
then it's a very different question.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's interesting, but they don't get into any of that. It's more just about like, this is gonna ruin me.
Yeah, which is so stupid. Like, how? Why? Like, you're dating a girl with a kid. Like, the whole storyline doesn't make sense. It's not fair to his character.
And it doesn't make sense. Yeah, it's not fair to his character and the growth that his character has gone through over the years. It also doesn't make sense that Carly wouldn't immediately be like, if the idea of maybe having a child turns you off this much, I have a kid. Why?
Right.
Can you fuck off then? Like,
yeah.
What the fuck? Like, this child is in your life, and if we're going to get closer, you're going to be more and more like a father figure to this child whose father is not in the picture.
Yeah.
So, like, that's a huge red flag for her.
Should be.
It should be, but she acts like it's not. And he comes, we haven't gotten the results yet. They give us, it's like a bait and switch. At the end of the last episode, they're like, Steve Sanders, and they've got the paper and everything. He has just taken the DNA. I guess that was supposed to be them saying, come and give us your DNA or whatever.
Oh, maybe.
But it seemed like they were saying that he was going to get the answer.
And I told you, I thought it took a lot longer than that.
Yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess kudos to them. I guess they listened somehow in the past and reverted it. But it does take several days or a week or something like that. But before the results, he comes to her and he's like, I've decided if it's mine, I'm going to take responsibility for the baby. And I hope that doesn't change anything between us. And I hope that you can accept it. And she's like, yes, of course, asshole.
Right.
It's like, if he made the other decision of like, I'm not going to have anything to do with this baby no matter what, I think she'd run for the hills.
Yeah, I would, for sure.
But, yeah, so she's happy about it. So he gets to do the right thing at the end. He talks to Rush. It didn't occur to me. Rush was in a very similar situation. Mm-hmm. He impregnated his birth mom, who is not his wife.
Yeah. Yeah, and he didn't want her to have the baby, I'm
and
sure.
Essentially bought the child. But, yeah, so he talks to him about that, and they have a conversation, and Rush is like, actually, this was a very sweet moment where Rush is like, that was the best thing that happened to me or whatever, because then now I have you.
Yeah.
And it's like, it was the actor that plays Rush is actually a very good actor. Yeah. I've seen him in other things too. But that was actually a really sweet moment between the two of them. So then, we get the DNA results, and he's not the father.
And then he's like, you told me there was nobody else. And she's like, well, there was one person.
But I was really hoping it was you.
Yeah.
That kind of makes me think, like, the other one doesn't have money.
Who knows?
Like, that makes me question her, too, though.
Yeah.
Where she was like, I really wanted to be Steve, so I'm going to make it seem like it has to be him.
Yeah, I don't like that. Like, be honest. Because if he knew there was a chance, he wouldn't have been freaking out so much. He would have just been like, yeah, okay, I'll do the test, but whatever.
Well, and he probably would have been like, it's most likely not me because we used a condom. Because it sounds like the other guy didn't.
But he was, freaking out. But I don't know. I didn't like this whole storyline.
I didn't like any of it. I didn't like what it did to Steve's character. I don't like how Carly reacted to it. I don't think it was realistic in any way.
Nope. And it was another thing that was just a giant waste of time because in the end it didn't matter.
Mm-hmm. So now most of the storylines are wrapped up that have been threads.
Yeah.
Steve's not the father. Erica is going to be gone after this episode, I assume, going to live with Dylan. Brandon's not in trouble anymore. The one thing that has come out of this the two things, I guess. So David and Donna and the Noah situation.
Right. That's the new thing.
And then Kelly has decided to volunteer at a clinic where a doctor is like treating children.
I don't think she's volunteering. I think she got a job there. Like, it's from the same agency she already works for, but she wants to switch what she's doing to work at this clinic
instead of doing vague daycare things.
Right.
The writers finally hit on an idea of something she could do in the social work area, and they were like, okay, let's do that.
So she's going to be there to, like, and this is a really stupid explanation of what a social worker would do. Mm-hmm. She's going to be there to comfort the patients, because a lot of patients are really scared when they come to the doctor.
But yeah, they don't know what social workers do. But they took the time to show the doctor, like give him a name and have an actor. They cast it. And his receptionist. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure that might not be a huge storyline, but I think this will be part of her. We'll see her there from time to time and all that stuff.
Well, you suspected that she's going to get a crush on this doctor or whatever.
Well, she has been known to have crushes on men in the medical field, so.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
But that is the episode, Carol.
It is. So you can write us at latefee1994 at AOL.com.
Yep.
Check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com.
Yep.
And share the tapes with your friends.
Do that. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.